and fly to Papa. Go fly to Papa. Leave us alone. Jeez, my God. Take it easy.
No pressure, no pressure. He said the pressure's really on now.
There's no pressure. Jeez, I'm better than him anyway. What the heck?
There you go. Shots fired.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. Okay, let's go back to the association because after a year in Philly, James Harden has opted out of his player option and will become a free agent. But he keeps real the possibility of negotiating a new deal with the Sixers. In combos with the team since the end of the season, he said he does have the desire to help the organization reshape their roster toward championship contention, sources told ESPN. So Harden arrived in Brooklyn in February with Paul Millsap in that blockbuster trade, while the Sixers sent Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, and Andre Drummond to Brooklyn and 2 first-round picks, including a pick in this year's draft, which was deferred to 2023. Freddie, I'm going to start with you because we all know how both of those teams' seasons ended, right? The 76ers and the Nets. Who do you think has more question marks as they head into next season?
Before I start that, how weird is it that that trade was 4 months ago? It seemed like it was 4 years ago that happened, with so many things that have happened involving both of these organizations on off the basketball court. But I'm still going to say it's the Brooklyn Nets because they're championship or bust, number one. But let's call it as it is. And I'm not here to bang on Kyrie Irving. Lord knows enough people have done that. But that's why they're the biggest, have the most questions to me because of him, because you don't know what you're going to get, who you're going to get. Why did it happen? Why did it not happen? But mark my words, this could be the season, everybody, that as much of a contrarian that Kyrie Irving is, that he'll do the opposite. We're expecting him to be troublesome. We're expecting him to maybe not want to be all in. This may be the year that he might be all in, that he's going to be the quiet Kyrie, the quiet storm Kyrie, not wanting to make any kind of waves on off the basketball court and just concentrate on what he does best. Because when he's a bucket getter, he makes everything better for everybody else. So this may be the year that we don't have to hear anything about Kyrie. I'm not anticipating that because I think it's going to happen, but that's why I think he has the biggest question because of that one person.
You think there's more questions with Kyrie than Ben Simmons?
Yeah, because we don't know. The biggest one, Ben Simmons, are we going to see him?
Right.
And that's not a question to me because until he makes that decision to come back when he has to be in the proper space, we don't know what the Brooklyn Nets are going to get. Heck, Ben Simmons doesn't know what he's going to do at this standpoint. I know that Kyrie Irving wants to be on the basketball court. Nobody has questioned that. He's gone about it in a different way that people wanted him to do that, but that's on him. I'm good with that. But when it comes to Ben Simmons, until we actually see what he can actually do back on the basketball court, to me, that's not a question. Until he becomes a question and gets back on the basketball court. Kyrie Irving, that's the biggest deal.
I will look at this from a basketball playing ability because Freddie's right. I mean, do I know Irving's going to play 60 games? And Simmons, who knows? I don't think it's even about Simmons. We'll see if he does play. It's about Irving. And is he going to come to camp? Raring to go. You know, we're playing 70 games. You and me, Durant and I, we're going to win on 55. I'm going to get a good seed. And who can predict that?
Right.
But if he does, he's better than Harden. So I will predict the idea right now that since I don't know Harden, one thing about Harden, he does play. You know, he does play the games. You know, he likes to play. So I'll give him that. So I know he's going to play, but I don't know what his physicality scenario is and how good he's going to be. So I'll say the Sixers have more questions, Brian, because I don't know if Harden is going to be a 23-point-a-game scorer or a 15-point-a-game scorer where he's a supplementary part. He needs to be 1-1A with Embiid. I'm assuming. I'm not sure. So as a result, I'll put more questions to Philadelphia.
Okay? So I don't know what the Sixers are going to look like yet. They could have 3 to 5 new players in the next 3 to 5 days. So part of it is I got to see what they do with this roster. I don't really want to give the Nets the benefit of the doubt, but let's just for the sake of doing it. And, you know, the Nets don't really have a super vocal leader. Mm-hmm. That's not what their owner does. That's not what Sean Marks does. That's not what Steve Nash does. Kyrie isn't a leader of anything. He can't really lead. And that's not Durant's style. I wish they had a guy who could come in and get them all together and set them down. And I mean, they've kind of tried to look for that guy. They were one of the teams interested in P.J. Tucker. They don't have the resources to get him because I think P.J. Tucker could be this guy. But if somebody could get these guys in a room and say, will you guys look around this room? Kevin Durant can win the MVP next year, even though he is more towards the back of his prime. My admiration for Kevin Durant's game knows no bounds. He can do anything. Ben Simmons, the thing that held the Nets back last year was their defense. Their defense was atrocious. Atrocious.
And you're being kind.
It was really kind of defied reality that people would actually wager on a team like that to win 4 playoff series or even 3. Because no team who's ever defended like that has ever had a chance. They didn't even win a single game, okay? They bring in Ben Simmons, who's one of the best, most versatile defenders. Again, assuming he's healthy, that's a defensive weapon. Obviously, Kyrie Irving, he plays great 40% of the time, but he's a champion. Seth Curry, Joe Harris, these are 2 spectacular outside shooters. What's the name of the game in the NBA? Shooting. They can put out a lineup that is absolutely fearsome, which is why it would be great if they had somebody who could bring them all together and say, hey, everybody, stop messing around. Let's play basketball. We can win a ring. So about questions, my question about the Nets is who's the leader? Because the talent is there. They've got more, in my view, they've got more talent than Philly. Now, let's see what happens when Philly completes their roster. Let's see what James Harden looks like in the fall. To me, if I'm giving the Nets a reason that they're going to stick together and that, that this see you in the fall is actually going to happen, it's because they still have a great team. And if I was a Nets fan, I would be exacerbated because I just want to see this team. The fact that they never got to really see Harden, Kyrie, and Durant play together in a real playoff run, that's a basketball tragedy that was never allowed to see. And if they do it again and it breaks up again or it fractures for various reasons and we never get to see Kyrie and Durant have a real shot at it, that would be it wasn't like they wouldn't have earned it, but it would be a basketball tragedy. So they have got to try everything they possibly can to hold it together because this Nets team, when we get past that drama, which is appropriately at the front and center, they're really, really good.
I thought Sean Marks tried to be the alpha male when he laid out the gauntlet against Kyrie Irving saying, look, we're not going through this again in 2022, 2023. The problem with that is, and nothing against Sean Marks trying to do that.
It took him 6 months.
It took him 6 months. Right.
But he's also folded.
Many times.
With all due respect,
exactly.
I think he's a good, smart man, but he's folded.
Oh, he's got no accountability.
Right, exactly.
You can't let him run. You can't let him run a team.
Right, but the problem is he knows nobody else can do it. It can't be Steve Nash because, to Brian's point, Steve Nash is too nice of a guy. Steve Nash can be a coach, but sometimes you need somebody who can put their foot up somebody's backside and say, look, I've had enough of this. What's it going to be? Because we saw that Ime Udoka, the Boston Celtics, until they ran into Golden State Warriors.
Right.
We've seen that with Steve Kerr. Greg Popovich, notorious for doing stuff like that. If you're going to be a championship team, you got to have respect for your coach. And to me, that's another question of the Brooklyn Nets. How much respect do they not have for Steve Nash? And I don't know if there's any kind of infinite number that's out there when it comes to that. When Kyrie Irving is going to hold a practice with other guys and nobody told Kyrie Irving to not do that, and he's not the head coach, that goes back to what you said, Chris, about the lack of accountability. Sean Marks tried to do that, but who can trust that when they caved up so many different times? If they don't have somebody step up that people are going to respect that organization, that's another question that you have with the Brooklyn Nets. I don't worry about that with the Sixers. I know Joel Embiid's an alpha male. I know he's the biggest, baddest lion in that force when it comes to Joel Embiid. I know that Doc Rivers can be that as well. And everybody's going to follow them. With the Brooklyn Nets, you got too many factions going on where somebody's over here and somebody's over there. And if you don't bring that together, like Brian said, I don't know if it's going to be a basketball tragedy, but it's going to be very interesting to see how that pans out.
100%. And, I tell you, they let this happen a long time ago because they let Irving and Durant, especially Irving, fire Atkinson because he didn't want to play for him.
It was even worse than that. It was even worse than that, Mad Dog. When they came in, they said, hey, we want to bring our friend DeAndre Jordan in here. Listen, players, they get their brothers on the team.
Right.
Oh, that's right, exactly right.
But not for $40 million. From the first day, the day they all signed, they go, hey, we want our buddy DeAndre Jordan.
And they
that contract was an insane contract.
Yeah,
but they're like, okay, look, we're going to keep these 2 guys. We'll give DeAndre $40 million. From that day forward, it was just
they have let them run them all. Why did Atkinson get fired? And I like Nash. Who doesn't like Nash? But he's not going to. No. Defense is about. You got to want to play defense. It's about a team identity. You get that from your head coach. Riley, defense. Knicks. Jordan, it doesn't go to show that after he takes the job, you can give me the details on that, to stay in Golden State. Atkinson's a heck of a coach, and Kyrie got him out of there. So right out of the gate, you bring up Jordan, didn't even know it, but they allowed Kyrie and Durant, especially Kyrie. I'll give Durant probably anything to do with it. But Kyrie said, I'm not playing with that guy. Get somebody else in here. And you can't allow this. You got to have an organization's got to have a totem pole.
Right.
You got the owner, you got the general manager, you got the coach, then you got the players. You can't have the players first.
After this season ended in absolute unfettered disaster, Kyrie said, well, Kevin and I will be the general manager.
Yeah, when
He said it in front of everybody.
And nobody called him on it.
Nobody. The owner's got to call him on it.
Well, the owner's not doing that. He's trying to run for political office more than anything
that's
else.
Another problem.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about, too many factions. How do you let somebody say that in front of people? That's like somebody going to your house and say, I'm going to put my feet on your table. What are you going to do about it? And that's exactly what he did.
Off getting swept.
Yeah, right. Not winning a playoff game. We're not talking about coming off a championship and you're all swole. No, they got swept in 4 games, and Kyrie Irving had the audacity, I'm going to use Stephen A. Smith, the unmitigated gall to go out there and say something like that.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my goodness. Is Jay-Z the rapper from Brooklyn?
Yes, he is.
99 Problems in Brooklyn.
And Kyrie's the one.
Kyrie's the
There I go again. Was that me?
That's not the lyrics, but you
Bad
said
Freddie.
it, not me.
Bad Freddie.
Okay. Moving on. Actually, coming up, this Warriors dynasty has a few more chips coming their way. According to Draymond, the question is, how accurate will that prediction be? We debate. And Judge went yard again yesterday.
You, Stephen A. Smith, the unmitigated gall to go out there and say something like that.
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness. Is Jay-Z the rapper from Brooklyn?
Yes, he is.
99 Problems in Brooklyn.
And Kyrie's the one.
Kyrie's
There I go again. Was that me?
That's not the lyrics, but you
Bad
said
Freddie.
it, not me.
Bad Freddie.
Okay. Moving on. Actually, coming up, this Warriors dynasty has a few more chips coming their way. According to Draymond, the question is, how accurate will that prediction be? We debate. And Judge went yard again yesterday, but was it more entertaining than Ohtani's 11 strikeouts? Hold on to your seats. You do not want to miss this.
We need to stop.